Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project 365, episode 619. We have 16.3 strategy and tips for people that are planning to retake it and improve their score. All right, so let's get at it. On the left side here is our strategy tips, and these are elements that I think that you can use. Some people may like them, some people may not, but things that might help you with the workouts that will help them make easier. The first one I want to talk about is gripping the snatch at the top. Now, this is something that a bunch of CrossFitters have implemented in high rep volume sets to kind of save their grips, because you're going to need the grip going from the snatch back over to the bar muscle ups. So here's what it looks like. So here's the difference. When we take our regular snatch grip, we tend to use our hook grip, right, that you normally see. People go ahead and they snatch the bar, okay? And what they'll do sometimes is keep that grip the whole entire time. And they just come through and they would cycle it and we'd be fine from right there. But when we get into high volume sets, sometimes it's best to open up those hands at the top, allow those forearms to kind of chill out for a second, and then re-grip as you come back down. So we come back up, hands open, close. Come back up, hands open, close. Hands up, open, close. That's gonna bring us into the second point. And this is the biggest mistake that I've seen in our gym, watching people doing it, maybe even myself as well, is we still need to emphasize that hip drive. This is a lightweight for guys and a lightweight for girls, okay? 75 pounds, 55 pounds. So it's very easy to go muscle, 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 muscle. However, I think that's a mistake even for the best people out there, because it's so much shoulder involvement. So when we have a muscle snatch, a pure muscle snatch that's not touching the hips at all, there's so much external rotation, which makes us then use so much wrist, which smokes our forearms even more, okay? So what I suggest that people do, all right, is make sure that they're still emphasizing their hips, okay, so that they could save their arms for the entirety of this workout. If you think about it, you're gonna have a bar in your hand, probably 5.5 minutes of the 7-minute workout, okay? Because the bar muscle ups don't take that long at all, unless you're one that's learning bar muscle ups, which is okay. Then this strategy is a little bit different for you. So here's what I mean by that. What I would suggest for people to do, instead of doing a strict bar muscle up like a strict snatch, muscle snatch, all right, what I would suggest for them to do is they can skip their hips on the way down, but on the way up, make sure that we still get in that hip contact, that hip drive. On the way down, miss the hip, okay? And that goes for the bar muscle ups as well. Where a lot of people that I've seen do that are proficient with the bar muscle ups, they tend to not use their hips with only sets of 3. They come down, they don't get into their hollows and their arcs. Okay, we need to use those things to keep the longevity of our grip. The final thing is the thing I say just about every single one of these workouts: transitions and paces. If we're really good here, we're getting 10 rounds, 9 rounds, okay? So if you think about that, that's 2 transitions per round. That's 18 to 20 transitions, 1 second, all right, of that of change on every single one of those transitions gives you almost another round if you're one of those elite guys, at half a round if you're like the mortals, like the rest of us, okay? So I can't express enough pace and transitions. Transitions. Pace, on the other hand, is the other thing that we want to talk about. And it also leads into how we're going to go ahead and check to see if we did a good job in the first time, to see if we can improve on the second time. When we want to pick or think of an idea of the amount of rounds that we want, we should understand about the amount of time that's going to take to get those rounds. So in this case, it's 7-minute workout. If we're trying to get 420 seconds in that workout, if we're trying to get 10 rounds, we need to do every one in 42 seconds or less. And if we want to get 9, 46 seconds, 8:52, okay? So if we're gonna pick one of these, we wanna stay as consistent as possible. So if we're somebody that got less than 8 rounds or thinks that they can get 8 rounds, but did their first round in 25 seconds, you started off too fast. You started off way too fast, and then killed yourself, right? However, you have to understand that some fatigue is going to happen. So if we look at this, and we're going ahead and we're going to review our splits, if we look and see that our first split is at 30 seconds, our second split is at 30 seconds, our third split is at 32 seconds, and then 34 seconds, okay? These are all okay, absolutely fine. But if we see our first set is at 25 seconds, our second set is at 28 seconds, then we blew our load, we're at 35 seconds, and then 47 seconds, and then 67 seconds. This is not something that we want to be able to see, okay? This is something that is consistent, but consistent with fatigue and something we should expect. So if we're going to go ahead and try for 10 rounds, sure, we're probably going to do our first 2 rounds in around 30 seconds and then allow fatigue to set in and allow us to compensate for that. But if we see this huge change, we know we need to rethink about the pace to try to save some energy for those later rounds. Now, the other thing that I want to say about when we're going to redo it is you have to look at how many times you broke up your snatches. The best guys out there didn't break up any, okay? Even the good people, they only broke them up once, okay? This is not an area where we can, if we're trying to get the best score we can, break up our bar muscle-ups. If you guys only have singles, that's absolutely fine. You do your best. But if you're somebody that has 8, 10, 12 muscle-ups, bar muscle-ups, you don't have and cannot afford to break up all these bar muscle-ups. You have to do all triples, which means that you need to break up the snatches. Breaking up the snatches into 2 sets will save you time over breaking up the muscle-ups into singles, okay? It takes a lot more time to jump onto the bar and do a muscle-up than it does just to drop and ghost ride. It takes a lot more time to jump back up and do another muscle-up than it does to drop and ghost ride the bar back up into another snatch, okay? So these are my tips for 16.3 strategy, and if you're redoing it, to beat your previous score. Guys, I hope this helps you out, and until tomorrow, we are optimizing function to optimize performance.